Welcome back, guys. I want to talk about a very common anxiety symptom today, and that is forgetfulness. All right, it's one of those mental anxiety symptoms that can be very, very frustrating. And just like physical symptoms, the more you don't want it to happen, the more it tends to happen. Remember, anxiety is going to do the opposite of what you want it to do. If you want this to stop, if you want to beg and plead for it to go away, it's going to come back 10 times stronger. That's how this whole thing works, whether it's physical symptoms or mental symptoms like the one I'm going to be talking about today. This symptom, unfortunately for me, was a very, very embarrassing symptom. And the more I worried about it happening in front of people, it would happen in front of people. And, there's a lot of different ways of wording this: forgetfulness, short-term memory, long-term memory, brain farts, brain fog. We hear that one a lot. But I just wanted to word it a little bit different for the title. I don't think I've ever titled one as far as calling it forgetfulness. But I would forget things all the time, and mine would be more so short term or just in the middle of having conversations, which kind of led me to be socially anxious. I'm not going to say I had full-blown social anxiety, but I definitely would get anxiety in social situations, because I just didn't want to have the embarrassment of it, right? So that's kind of how it bled into my social life. But it started with me just having a lot of brain farts and walking into a room and just being like, why did I come in here? And I'm not talking about the average, like, oh, I walked in the room and like, wait a second. Oh yeah, I got to go get that, right? Or I was going to go grab something. And I'm talking about, I'd walk in a room and be like, why the hell am I in here? What was I coming in here to do? And I'm talking about maybe the rest of the day, unless I run into that thing that I needed to put away. I may not remember why I came in that room the whole rest of the day. That's how bad mine would get. I would forget things that I should have known like the back of my hand. I had this one story. This is super embarrassing. I might have told it before, but me and my wife were moving, and there was this person that she saw on Facebook that was willing to let us have a whole crap ton of boxes for moving. So cool. Like, I don't have to go digging dumpsters for boxes or pay. So we drove to this person's house out in the country, and we're down there cutting up boxes, and this girl's husband was out there talking to us, and he was like, oh yeah, where are y'all moving? And I panicked because I couldn't remember just instantly. Like, I knew what it was, but I just couldn't bring it into words, if that makes sense. And I remember I was like panicking, and my heart rate started to escalate, and my chest was getting tight. And instead, what I should have done? I should have just said, man, I'm having a brain fart. Babe, what's the street that we live on? Even though it's one of the most common streets in my town. And she'd be like, oh, it's on such and such, Trey. And I was like, yeah, man, my bad. My mind's all over the place today. And I could have just handled it that way. But no, what did I do? He asked me that, panics a little bit. My symptoms are going up, and I act like I didn't hear him. And I just kept cutting. And I'm not talking about it was like 5 seconds, not like 20 awkward seconds, to where eventually I was like, oh, yeah, it's by the park. Because I knew that the park was close to where we lived. Still not being able to come up with this very popular road in my mind was kind of weird, but that's how my anxiety would be sometimes. And then he was like, oh, okay, and everything. It was super freaking awkward and embarrassing. Having to do interviews, I would stumble over my words, forget things like my work history, forget what I was going to say, and it just made me feel socially awkward, if that makes sense. So I would forget stuff like that. I'd be the guy always sticking the milk in the cabinets, or just doing weird things. I would just zone out, and blank out all the time. This is very, very common. Very, very common. And my whole theory behind it is my mind's always fixated on something else. Me putting the milk in the fridge is not as important as me trying to get away from danger. And when you're always anxious and you're stressed, and if you're like me, where you're always like borderline panic mode or fight or flight all the time, your priorities are different. So in that moment, my mind was displaced when I was doing his boxes. It wasn't meant to hyper focus in on his question and to figure, to remember that street name, even though, again, it's a very popular street in my town, one of the main ones. But my mind wasn't meant for that. My mind was focused on like, what disease am I currently worried about? Or don't have a panic attack out here, or we got to move and it's stressful. My mind was always fixated on something else. So when your mind's fixated on getting you away from danger, it doesn't prioritize some of these short-term memory issues that you're having, or why you came in the room for this, or putting the milk in the wrong place. remembering, things like phone numbers, addresses, putting names with faces with people that you used to go to school with, or famous people. If you're talking about movies, I remember I would never be able to come up with the right movie title, if that makes sense, on movies that I loved until like hours later. And it was frustrating. So if you're dealing with this, that's my theory. We are just always hyper focused on something else that it's almost like we don't have, I don't want to say capacity, but it's like we don't have a lot of room for thinking about other things. So a lot of short-term memory issues with me. Forgetfulness, that was a big deal. Brain farts in the middle of conversations. I mean, it made interviews and, talking to my boss or talking to friends just a nightmare, or strangers a nightmare. So I dealt with that every day, pretty much. Like I was saying earlier, the more that you want this to not happen, the more it's going to happen. I know, I get it, like we don't want it to happen, but the more that you express it to yourself and to your subconscious, with your responses that you don't want this to happen, the more that it's actually justified. I know it seems weird that that's how we work, but if we show fear, it's going to keep on giving you whatever symptom it's trying to get to you to get you away from danger. So we don't want to show fear. It's okay to be scared, but we don't want to show the fear to our subconscious. We want to be a leader. We want to be brave. We want to give context to safety. So it starts with your perspective. And be forgiving. That's another thing. I would get so frustrated with myself and annoyed with myself and be like, dude, you're stupid, or, they're going to think you're dumb, or you're embarrassing yourself. You have to talk kind to yourself, okay? Be loving to yourself and your subconscious. Also, start letting yourself know, like, that interview doesn't have to go bad, or that speech doesn't have to go bad. Instead of, oh, man, I'm going to crash and burn up there, or I'm going to really wreck this freaking interview. I really need this job. I'm needing the money. I hope that things go well. You have to start, giving yourself some hope and belief that today could be different. Or when I go hang out with my friends tonight, I may not have any issues, right? Or I may have a day where I don't really forget much, or that interview could go great, So just start planting those seeds and changing your perspective on it. But stop wishing it away and hoping that it'll go away. I mean, it ironically just doesn't work that way. It's going to keep it there. And it's going to make it stronger. And this goes with anything else. Is like if you have chest pain or headaches or anything, guys, it's just going to magnify the problem. Let it be there. Let it be there. Some of you have heard invite it in. I would do that with a lot of my symptoms. Just challenge it. Like, go ahead and just get even worse. Make it to where I can't remember anything, Just having that perspective change and attitude change, and your change in your response to your subconscious can make a huge difference. It's going to lift the pressure up. Once you stop begging it to stop, and then it'll actually go away. It's like your body and your brain get bored with that symptom, whether it be a physical one or a mental one. Please let us know down below in the comments if this is something that you deal with, and let us know your struggle with forgetfulness. Tell us some stories. It's great to be able to relate down below in the comment section. So do that, guys. If you want more help with your anxiety process, recovery process, please check out my course. ELITE Anxiety Bootcamp is down below in the description and in the first pinned comment. I'm going to read you a review real quick. There is suffering in recovery. It's a process, up and down. But I'm working hard every day. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you for what you do. Your program was exactly what I needed. I would recommend it to anyone suffering from anxiety. So check that out. Super affordable. It's helping a lot of people. Be a part of that. My coaching information is down below if you want to do one-on-one calls with me. And other resources are down there, guys. I love you all. And until next time, keep fighting.